Hello and welcome to another video from Let's Drink Tea. Today we're going to brew Sencha, which is a Japanese green tea, the most popular Japanese green tea by far actually. I think like 80% of their production is Sencha. And it's kind of famous as a tea that's difficult to brew or pretty finicky. But basically that just means alterations in the water temperature will have a larger effect on the flavor of the tea than with other teas. So if you use slightly hotter water, it'll get a little more bitter maybe, but it changes it quite a bit. The good thing is that, at least for me, I don't really mind. I like the tea no matter how it tastes, so it's not that important for me to get the correct water temperature exactly. And where I am now, I'm not here permanently, so I don't have a nice water boiler with a variable temperature control anyways. I just bought a cheap one that I'm going to leave when I leave here. So it just boils water. And so I have to kind of estimate. And then for Sencha, you want water that's about 80 degrees Celsius, which is around 170, 175 Fahrenheit, something like that. But like I said, I estimate, I boil it, then I let it cool. And yeah, it works. It's not ideal. If you have a certain way you like it. If you have a variable temperature control, you can set it to a temperature, brew it. If it's a little too bitter for you, go colder next time, and then kind of dial in the exact temperature you like. And that's great. That's what I would do too. It's just that I don't have that option here, so I don't bother. And it's not a big deal for me. I like the tea either way. In terms of amount, it also is something you would vary. I do it depending on how many steeps. Like if I think I'm going to steep 5 or 6 cups, I do more. If I don't want that many, I don't do as much. But basically you want a teaspoon per cup of tea, so per 8-ounce cup, something like this. This pot that I have holds about 2 to 2.5 of these. So depending on how much water you put in, I guess. So what I'm going to do is use maybe 2.5 teaspoons. This is kind of a smaller teaspoon. You want a little bit more on there. So maybe I'll make the next one a little bit bigger. The reason for that is that this bag of tea is close to being empty, so it's a bit harder to get larger teaspoons out of it. You can see here's another one that's not quite as large. So put that in there, and so I kind of do it by eye too. I kind of see how well it covers the base. And based on that, so actually it's pretty much where I want it, so I just do a little bit more, another half. So in the end, I guess I did do about 2.5 teaspoons, and it's good. Then we'll add some water, which has been sitting here. I boiled it right before I started the video, and now it's been sitting for probably about a minute, so I figure that's close to the 80 degrees Celsius that we want. Put that in there. And for steeping time, it's a minute to 2. Usually, I say this a lot in the videos that I often don't go the whole steeping time because if it takes on the color I like, and I always use a glass teapot so I can see that, then I go ahead and just take it out early, and that way I can probably get an extra steeping out of it too, and that's always something I try to do. So you can see here it's already quite green, and Sencha has this lovely green look, so I'm probably going to leave it in another 20 seconds and then take it out already. There's no need to leave it 2 minutes for sure in this case. So that's another thing. If there are always instructions, and there are always some on the bag too, not on this one, but that will tell you 2 minutes. Usually I go less. I almost always go less than what they say, at least for the first steeping. And like I said, that's just a matter of taste, and it really doesn't have that big of an effect if you leave it longer. It makes it stronger, but it doesn't need to be stronger at that point, unless you're only drinking 1 or 2 cups from the leaves. Then you might as well leave them in longer and get everything out of them. But like I said, I'm probably going to make, with this tea, I've been getting about 5 steepings, so I'll get 5 cups like this out of this tea today. And I want to make sure that the last one looks similar to the first one. I'm still getting that same kind of strength in the tea. So making the first one a bit shorter helps with that. And you can see, look at the color. It's done. That's what Sencha should look like. This kind of yellowish green. The color does depend on the temperature and also the type of leaves you put. Sometimes Sencha will be more green than yellow. This one's more yellow. I also think my water was a little hotter than it should have been, but again, not a big deal. I don't mind if the tea is slightly bitter. I actually like that, so I'm happy with it. All right, thank you for watching, and that's it.